Hi there, my name's Emily and I've just come back from a beach holiday and I just wanted to share some of my experiences with you that can help you stay safe as well as your family and friends when you go to the beach and the seaside again. Now the beach itself and the sea, they have many dangers which quite a lot are hidden from us. There can be things that can sting us, we can be burnt by the sun or by the hot sands, we could get dehydrated, sunstroke, and obviously there's a risk of drowning when swimming in the sea. Now the beach and the water, it can just seem like a vast playground to us as well as children. So when you do visit the beach and you've got young children, make sure you set some basic guidelines and basic rules that everyone should really follow. First of all, ideally you should choose a beach that's got a lifeguard. And you should follow the advice that the lifeguards give you, such as the signage around and also the flags. We'll talk more about the flags later. Also make sure you stay close to the shoreline. Don't go swimming too far out. Don't swim in the water by yourself. Always try and swim with someone else. If that's not possible, then make sure you tell somebody what you're doing, where you're going, so they can watch out for you. So if you get into trouble, they can raise the alarm. Now if you have young children with you, or children, or even adults that can't swim, make sure they do not go to the sea unattended. Make sure someone goes with them. The sea can be a very dangerous place. We're going to talk a little bit more about why in a second. But also try not to swim near rocks, and please do not use inflatables in the sea. Now inflatables are increasingly popular and they do have a high appeal. Lovely Instagrammable photos. So they are designed to be used in a swimming pool, not designed to be used on the sea. Because strong currents can rapidly sweep inflatables and people out to the sea in less than a minute. I witnessed a young child being carried out in the sea on a small rubber ring while his parents kind of swam furiously to catch him. Thankfully, it did have a happy ending and he didn't go too far out, but they were having to swim quite fast in order to catch him. Please, only do use inflatables in the pool. Those inflatables I just mentioned and the unicorn one, we've got a big head. Those ones look lovely, make lovely photos, but actually that big head and neck can actually act as a big sail and the wind can just grab hold of that and take you flying out to the sea. And before you know it, you're out of your depth. People then panic because they're going so fast, throw themselves off the inflatable, which is their only kind of life-saving device at that time, and then they get into difficulty. The water can be cold, they might struggle to swim. So please only use inflatables in a pool. Also, we mentioned about the flags. So you're going to a lifeguarded beach. That way you know someone's always going to be looking out for you when you're swimming. But make sure you do know what the flags mean. So if you see a red and yellow flag, this means it's a lifeguarded area. This is going to be the safest place for you to swim with you and with your friends and family. Now if you see a black and white checkered flag, now this means it's only for surfboards and kayaks and other non-powered crafts such as paddleboards. You never swim or bodyboard there. And if you see a red flag, this means danger. Do not go into the water under any circumstances. A red flag means no go. A bit like when you see a red traffic light, you do not go any further. Do not go in the water if you see a red flag. Now you'll see here in this example, there's people swimming in an area that clearly has a red flag up. You can see where the lifeguard chair is, or the lifeguarding hut. You can see there's a red flag flying. You can also see how big the waves are. There are absolutely no lifeguards on duty and these swimmers are literally risking their life. They carried on swimming even when the dangers are pointed out to them. 3 swimmers a year drown in this particular spot where they're swimming because people choose to ignore the flags, they ignore the rules, or maybe they just don't understand them. But in this case, this family here did understand them because we pointed it out to them very clearly. It is too dangerous to swim. Now rip currents are another danger of the sea. They're really strong currents that can quickly take swimmers out from the shallow water and then take them quickly out of their depth. Lifeguards will show you where you can avoid rips, but if you do get caught in one, try and stay calm. Easier said than done, I know. Don't panic. If you can stand, then try and wade, which means kind of walking. Don't swim. Raise your hand and shout for help. Never try to swim directly against the rip or you'll get exhausted. Try and swim parallel to the beach until free of that rip current. So when you're free from the rip, that's when you can start swimming towards a shore. Now if you're sitting on the beach looking out to the sea and you see somebody get caught up in one of these rip currents, then please make sure you alert the lifeguards, alert the coast guards, call the emergency services or whatever number that is in the country you are visiting. I love swimming in the sea and I still love swimming in the sea, but I do always make sure I follow those basic safety rules because the sea is dangerous. So do look for those lifeguarded areas. Make sure you know what your flags are. Keep those inflatables at home and make sure if people are not strong swimmers or they can't swim, they are never left unattended in the sea or near the sea. You always go with them in the shallow water. Well, now we've talked about the seaside being dangerous, but let's talk about the beach because sitting on the beach can also be dangerous. First of all, let's think about our skin. Just one blistering sunburn in childhood or adolescence more than doubles a person's chances for developing melanoma later in life. In fact, racking up more than 5 sunburns at any age, from child, adolescence or even adulthood, actually doubles the risk of melanoma. My advice is keep that red at bay, keep that sunburn at bay, and cover yourself in sun cream of at least a SPF factor of 15 or higher. And always try and make sure you find some shade during the peak times. Make sure shade things like hats, umbrellas, tents, even trees, or just avoid going out during that really hot period of time, which is lunchtime, normally between about 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Remember, even your eyes can get sunburned too. Don't forget your sunglasses, don't forget your sun hat, don't forget those brollies. Make sure that you keep safe from the sun. You do not want sunburn, and especially when you're on holiday, it just ruins it. So no matter what kind of skin you've got, always use sun cream. People don't realise that you can even get sunburnt on a cloudy day if the UV level is high. There's also a risk of having a sunstroke when being in the sun for too long. Now, a few hours of just laying under the sun or being out in the sunshine can cause some serious symptoms that may lead to severe sickness. Heat exhaustion, heat stroke and sun poisoning can result from dehydration and extended exposure to high temperatures. So please make sure you drink lots of fluid, ideally water, maybe even put some Diamylite in there so you avoid dehydration. Avoid drinking things like coffee and alcohol. And I know adults, you might be on holiday, but alcohol really does dehydrate us. I can't drink alcohol in the sunshine, it just gives me a really bad headache, and that's because we're dehydrated. Now, symptoms of heat exhaustion and heat stroke, well, they can lead to confusion. The character might appear dizzy, get very tired, get those severe headaches I was talking about. You might get cramps in your muscles, weakness, might feel sick. You might be sweating lots, or actually you might stop sweating. And your skin might go very pale. And maybe your hands and even your face might swell up. Now, if you or someone you're with, family and friends, display any of those symptoms, make sure you get them out of the sun and the heat as quickly as possible. Use umbrellas to put them in the shade. Remove any unnecessary clothing. Drink plenty of water. And take a cool bath or shower, or encourage them to, depending on who the casualty is. If symptoms are severe, there's swelling, there's confusion, painful and blistering sunburns, then it's best to seek medical attention. So when you do go on holiday, make sure you know where to go for medical help. So we all know that feeling the sand between your toes is an essential part of a beach holiday, and it definitely is an essential part of my beach holiday. But when the temperature outside goes above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, kind of above 35 degrees Celsius, that squishy sand doesn't feel so great, and it can even cause burns. So please make sure you wear shoes when going to the beach. You might be laying sunbathing on your towel, then stand up and want to go to the toilet or want to go to the seaside. That sand is very hot. Flip-flops or sand shoes or wetsuit shoes are really good to have, and especially make sure your children wear them. Because wearing shoes can also prevent stings from that ocean life and also cuts on your feet as well. So ocean life. So I've just mentioned ocean life to you. Now thankfully When I'm talking about ocean life, we're not talking about shark attacks because they aren't that common, but it does depend where you're going. So do check out what the lifeguards are telling you, and also your holiday reps. But most ocean life shouldn't cause too much problems. But it's always good to be aware of what's out there so we can protect ourselves to avoid a trip to the hospital when on holiday. Now, barnacles and the shells of mussel and clams, those razor clams, they can be very sharp. So watch carefully when walking on the rocks and move slowly while walking out into the water. And shoes are really, really useful, not only for your grips, your grip on the rocks, but also to stop yourself from getting cut or hurt. Little crabs, they can also have the need to want to pinch you. So proceed carefully over those rocks, and especially those nooks and crannies, just where you might find a crab. Jellyfish, they're another creature to look out for. And there's many different varieties out there, but they do, quite a lot of them have tentacles. And the tentacles can discharge a horrible venom-filled stinger into your skin, which is really painful. Now, these can vary greatly in severity. They usually only result in a painful red irritated mark, but there are some types that can actually cause severe and life-threatening injuries. So if in doubt, always seek medical advice. Most jellyfish stings can be treated by yourself at home. Now, if you do find any tentacles are stuck to the skin when you come out of the water, then you need to remove them using a flat object, such like a credit card. Don't use your fingers to do so. Do not rub them either, because if you rub them with your hands, A, you don't want more stings, but also you can aggravate them, which will set off the poison into your leg or wherever they've been stung. So don't rub them off with a towel, because that can aggravate the sting even more. Then, after you remove the tentacles, rinse the sting with seawater. Using fresh water actually activates the stingers that have not yet released the venom. So make sure you wash it in seawater. Then when you've done that, soak the area in very warm water, as hot as you can possibly tolerate it, for at least 30 minutes. Use hot flannels or towels if you cannot soak. Please, do not urinate on a jellyfish sting, because actually that makes it worse. Same reason as fresh water shouldn't be used, because fresh water can actually release more venom using the stingers. So despite the folklore, urinating on a jellyfish sting may actually cause the stingers to release more venom rather than actually providing relief. So please do not wee over anyone or yourselves a jellyfish sting. Keep your wee to yourself, please, people. Now, weaverfish is something I've experienced. They're another creature that can cause an issue. They are very, very painful. They don't mean to hurt you. They're a small kind of sand-coloured fish, and they bury themselves in the sand. But if you stand on them, well, their dorsal fin embeds itself into your foot, and it injects venom which causes excruciating pain. Now, with a weaverfish, you need to treat it as quickly as possible. But if you do not feel comfortable performing first aid on yourself, please make sure you seek medical advice immediately. Look for the lifeguard hut or call the relevant medical assistance. If you can treat it yourself, the first thing you need to do is remove the spines on the foot. From that dorsal fin, it injects spines into you, so remove them from your foot. And then what you need to do is immerse your foot in very hot water, 40 degrees Celsius or higher, which is roughly about 104 degrees Fahrenheit, for no less than 30 minutes. And then hopefully the pain will subside. But remember, always seek medical help if you're in doubt about anything that's bitten you, stung you or hurt you on the beach. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you can be alerted of any new videos that we publish. They're all about helping you and your family stay safe and well.